pitch dark. I can't locate my flashlight. This is a real problem. This is actually probably the worst problem that's ever happened. We're tied down again. Fucking BNSF, man. Fucking BNSF has tied the damn train down before we get to the place for however the fuck long. There is a serious rainstorm. I'm soaking through. Everything's getting drenched. I'm gonna have to go up and sit in the engines. There's no choice here. It's just not survivable. So I don't know how I'm gonna get my gear out. I'm in my bag. Everything's soaked. Look at this. It's like a wind with a sleet coming down. I hate this. I don't like to feature this in the episodes, but I have no option. I gotta get in the engine, or I'm gonna die. I don't know if I'm gonna die. That might be a little dramatic, but I'm not gonna do well. Back there, the stuff's blowing in that car. Better. There we go. This is absurd. But I'm in here and that's better. Train going past. It's dark. Can't see it over there. I'm not sure if there's a crew on my train or not. The headlight was on and now it isn't. But we're getting passed from the back. At least I'm in the engine. I mean, this is fine. But I don't have my stuff in here. I mean, the issue going on here, if it gets light, it's a very small looking town out there. Let's see if I can see it any better out there. This is horrible, this fog. This is the thickest fog I've seen. I'll be okay. I can't go back to that car. My stuff is soaked. I didn't even pack it up. It's not survivable if I'm back there. Well, we're out of here. There's got to be a crew up front. My stuff is way back on another car, about 25 back. I don't know how it's going to resolve, but I'm not going to freeze outside at least. And it's dark, but it's going to be light soon as we're approaching Trinidad, Colorado. Spring snow. April 4th, we got heavy snows coming in. I'm really glad I made it up here. Look at that, it's a blizzard going on. So the problem that I'm facing, this is the engine right behind the engineer and the conductor. I got no option but to be in here at this point. So the problem is that at some point, they're gonna come in here, and I'm also looking at the front of the train and thinking they might set it out. I didn't mention this. There's tanks on the front of this train, army tanks. And I can't imagine that those are going past Fort Carson, which is not all the way to Denver. They might get set out in Pueblo. And that's basically, I have to get out of here at the next crew change, and I'm just gonna have to suck it up and deal with whatever happens. Because, you know, when they set something out, there's guys in here all the time. I can't be in here. Just pure snow, I'll be all right. Nothing was that soaked when I got out. However, if it's rain, it's gonna be a real problem getting up to Denver. Although I can get back in these engines later on, but I can't be in there when there's the chance of getting set out the cars behind here. See, actually it's dark. There's about 20 cars with army tanks on them behind here. Through some dismal little New Mexico town. Got the scrub here. I don't like being right up by the units, believe me. I don't even like being in the engines, but looking at these conditions, could have withstood just being on the outside of the train on that car, except we had to stop and recrew. It's ridiculous. There's like a 2 or 3 hour stop there. Water was just dripping in, and I woke up and it was starting to seep in, and I knew very clearly that if I get cold and soaked on this, it could be very grim outcome. Closer to Trinidad, Colorado, where the next crew change is going to be. I don't know if I haven't decided. I mean, I could, run back to my car. It's not terribly far back, or I could hide for the new crew to get on here. I mean, this is, look at this. And look what I'm wearing. I got shorts on. I've got clothes back there. I don't know what's dry. It popped up out of nowhere, this storm, and more importantly, the train stopped for about 4 hours. So we've got a minor situation. The crew just came in. This is what happens when you're up here. I never advise being up here unless you have to. It was a survival level situation. So I have to get off. They're gonna drop me off here at this crossing. My stuff is back a ways is the problem here. And I need to get that stuff off, or possibly get on the train, just get on that car. I'd rather just get back on my car. If I can do that, I'm gonna try. Nobody's in trouble unless they're, you know, not being honest. But I gotta get my stuff, and obviously they don't want me to get back on the train. That was made very clear. Worst case scenario, if I can't get it, I could catch up with this train somehow. The train's going to Denver. I don't think the car, I'd have to go find it. I think it's possible they may be calling the cops. I just heard the dispatcher call the train. The train did not respond, as in there's something going on that I'm not hearing, and that's not good. 7 miles from Trinidad. This is not a good situation at all, because ordinarily I could say, oh, I was freezing and it won't work with BNSF. I'm in their system a lot of times already. So the second this slows down, I'm gonna bail and run. I'm gonna record my car number of my stuff, try to figure out a way I can figure out where the car is going, and I gotta be off this train as soon as I can. Well, here we are back there. Everything's here. Ran up last night to see if anyone was on there, and then the thing started going. I got an engine. I didn't expect this. So, whatever, I can survive to Denver. It's only 200 miles, guaranteed. I got an extra blanket. I'm gonna put on some pants. This is the most dramatic change in weather I've ever experienced on one of these trips. I don't know if I just misread. I thought Amarillo said 70 for today. Well, sure the F ain't 70 up here. It's chilly. The bag is kind of wet. Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. This is the coldest day since leaving Montana in February. I'll make it. I'm not gonna die. But other than that, it's not gonna be very fun. You know, this deep grainer, which is generally a great ride because you're totally out of sight and out of the wind. Look at this. And the moisture, it's got this bar and it's just dripping over everything. And thank goodness I've got a tarp. Totally crazy. Look at that. Well, this is a good example of you just can never be positive what is gonna happen on this. I mean, this is colder and worse weather than anything on this entire trip that began February 15th out of Montana. Look at this snow. Did you remember yesterday? How the F would you expect this to happen? Now I got a tarp, you know, I got clothes. I'm gonna survive. But I mean, I would have had to carry a parka the whole effing time to be prepared, and this would have been the first day I would have needed it on the entire trip. 200 miles to Denver. We're finally pulling out of this god-awful spot in Trinidad. 6 hours at least, just hunkered in here. It's not terribly cold. I'm guessing it's about 30 because there's liquid water on things, but hopefully this dripping will stop as we get moving because it's starting to drench my bag. We got to get going. This is dangerous to be in this conditions for too long, I would say. Oh my God! This is awful! Look at this. Look at this ridiculousness going on here. This is Walsenburg, Colorado. Look at the speed. It's seriously one of the most intense snowstorms I can recall. In April, I've lived in Colorado. I'm from Colorado. I don't remember an April storm anything like this ever. That's this intense. Yeah, it snows. It snows in April, but this is a blizzard. This is an official freaking blizzard. At this speed, I got a long way to go. I'm gonna live, but I'm not gonna enjoy it at all until I'm in a warm place. This is not fun, believe me. This is not a lot of fun at all. Well, this is possibly the most extreme conditions I've put myself in. This is, it's not approaching life-threatening, but I mean, look, we got slush. The main issue going on is that it's like, if I wish it was either colder or warmer by 10 degrees, because you got drippage, and then you have snow. It's all combining. I'm not dry. I've got no way to get dry here. Everything's soaked out here. Now, again, the abort the mission thing would be, I could go get in the engines, even if they see me. You live, you know. That's not going on here. The thing is, it's not cold. It's definitely not below freezing out here. But this is it. I've never seen. This is absurd. What has happened? 24 hours ago, it was 75 degrees. I was in Amarillo in shorts and a t-shirt, and look at this. So, I don't know what to say. I can blame myself for not looking at the weather forecast at the same time. This is one of those 1 in 5 years events where April 4th, you get this kind of a snow going on in Colorado. I've lived in Colorado. I was born and raised here. This is not common that this happens this late in the year. It's actually, I don't know if I can recall anything of this nature. Please, please, please come out. Sun appears to be cooperating here. This was really looking grim. I'm telling you, this could have been 2 items that I have that I don't always have. I got this styrofoam. I've got this tarp. This is the first time I've always had a tarp on a trip. And this blanket, which I found that someone had discarded recently. If I didn't have these things, I think survival would not have been a guarantee on this trip. It probably would have happened, but I mean, game changer. And now I pray to God or whoever's listening, I want this storm over. This is Stobe the Hobo talking to whoever's listening. I want this over. Look at that. We may have blue sky coming in. Please. That said, I'd also like this train to start moving. I have no idea why we're stopped here. Look at this bag. The bottom of this bag is drenched. It's legitimately dumping lots of water out of it. This is what I'm talking about. Even this blanket, some of it. These are the conditions that could have been a lot worse if this snow had continued. And I gotta get this dried out while I got the chance. You ever just wonder why the F you're out here doing this, freezing your ass off like this, when you could be in a warm house or any other place? I sure do. Look at this. Come on, sun. No, no, no. More clouds are moving in. That is not good if that happens. Finally on the move after another ridiculous stop. One interesting thing, this tanker is seriously warm to the touch. Look there, we don't have a hazmat placard, so I don't know what's in it. And it's actually not loaded if you look at the springs. This is warm. This really helped out. I kind of huddled up next to this, you know, go like this for a little bit, and it's like warm. It's really nice. So if worst comes to worst and we're stopped again, I can just do that. Right now I gotta get back in Mike's side, manage to dry things off enough to where it's not as miserable. Absolutely absurd spring storm. It's starting back up. I'm praying that this whole drip thing ain't gonna get going again. I'm dried up enough where it's actually not bad. Let's hope it stays that way. Coming into Pueblo. All right, so we're coming up to Pueblo Junction. If you watched Denver to Houston Part 1, I hung out at that junction trying to go east to La Junta. Now I'm coming in from the south. The Pueblo Junction, that's the split to La Junta right there. So if we were gonna just go to Denver, we would have gone up there, but we're going into the Pueblo yard. That's not good. Not a good sign at all. I know, going into the Pueblo yard, it's starting to get darker, it's raining again. I don't know. I mean, this may be the end of the trip later. I'm not gonna try to catch another train out of here. Oh, for the love of God. Got heavy rains coming in. There's where I was sitting in that couch. The Denver to Houston episode. Now I'm coming in. We got heavy rains. Capitulation time is just about here. Some kind of train museum right here. I could just get off and be done. I'm gonna give this a little bit of time. I think if I'm here at dark, I can't do it. I'm gonna get out and figure something else out. We're deep in the yard, so God, I do not no idea what the hell's going on now. I'm gonna try to stay upbeat. I think I've reached an important point where I'm just not riding FNBS anymore, at least on these clunker lines. Train is apparently still gonna go north, but they just tied it down right over that hill here in Pueblo. It's gonna go at some point, whatever. It's not worth the time, you know? I waited around for, it'll be 2 days again, Amarillo to Denver. If you count the time waited, it's not worth it anymore. I think it's, I need to grow up and out of this nonsense. I think the train is cool. It's not worth the time though if it's gonna be like this. And I think I'm kind of happy to come to this decision right now. It's just not worth it. If I have to take 2 days to get north, I've done it. Not gonna do it anymore. I'm not doing any more of this super slow nonsense. It's not worth my time. And I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna find some food and hang out for a bit. Try not to get too grim because the train is gonna leave. My stuff is on the train. They just tied it down. So I'd say that's a safe 2 hours, and if not, well, I'll be effed even more, but I'm kind of just at that point of extreme exasperation where I gotta just get off and unwind. So here's Pueblo. Freaking blizzard today, April 4th. Darkest hours of the night. I hate to have to get in the front again. It's the only option. Everything's soaked again. Well, I went to get food. The rain and the snow continued. As soon as this train inches forward, I'm gonna get in the third engine. Like I said, I advise against doing this unless there's a necessity, but it's freezing. I am cold as F. My clothes are wet. And I gotta get home. There's no other choice. I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna have to stay alert as well. I don't wanna get found in here. It's 10 p.m. right now. I'm gonna have to stay up. Out. Here we go. They've got full blast heat on in here. I'm gonna monitor this seat so I can see if they come back. I can get in the bathroom and they won't even know I'm in here if they come back. Adios, Pueblo. Can't say I enjoyed being here very much. Ever. Anytime I've been here. Out. I reiterate, I don't advise riding back here. Except when it's cold and you got no other choice. There's a good chance of being caught in here. I'm trying to stay awake. However, I don't know if I definitely can. There was no other way to get home. And honestly, some people do. You don't have to be on trains, Jim. You don't have to be doing that. I'd be glad to take a bus that doesn't cost $50, you know? Put together a bus, $20 bus. They've got it on the East Coast. It's called Megabus. There's nothing like that in Colorado. So, again, this is not recommended, but I have no option. Well, I'm giving up here. The train is stopped in Monument, Colorado. It's super cold. The train's been here about 8 hours. I'm at the end with BNSF Railway. I'm just done with it. It doesn't matter what I do, how I do it. I get put on these things, and it's too much. It's super cold. Close enough to the interstate, I'm gonna go hitchhike. It's unbelievable to me why nothing ever runs when I get on BNSF. So, whatever. I got a decent distance. Stuck out here. It's just too cold. Look at this. It's frosty. See my breath? I can't just sit here. I don't even know if there's a crew on. So anyways, Stobe the Hobo concluding this episode. We've learned a lot on this trip, I'd have to say, for sure. First of all, we've seen that basically this military equipment doesn't seem to be any issue with just letting this stuff sit for days on end. The silly tanks on this train. They've been here. I've been on this train on and off for almost 36 hours. And, you know, terrorists, whoever, there's no security here. We've seen that BNSF is essentially so slow. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear it. The guy's tying the train down up there. Again. This is the slowest railroad that exists in the United States. And I'd have to say to riders, you know, the bull, the cops, like serial murderers that are out here, I'm telling you, none of this stuff is a deterrent to me to riding the train as much as this experience has been on here. Nothing has come close. I'm not touching FNBS again. I'm not touching it, you know? I just can't do it, man. I don't have the time for this shit. And so again, 8 hours here. And now he's tying it down because the crew doesn't have enough time. Again. Thank God I'm close enough to call for a ride.